beautiful people. Today we got Miss Bella being dropped off. So we're waiting on her owners to come down so we can start the, the reintroduction process. So, of course, you guys are going to come along for the ride and, stay tuned. Stay tuned for all this good information that you're about to get. So, while we're waiting, make sure you go ahead and like the video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe and make sure you share this, because you're going to get a lot of information that, trainers charge a lot of money for, and you're going to get it for free in this video. So we're just waiting on Tony and family to come down so we can get this process started. Show you the neighborhood. Let me clean my camera. All right. So we're just waiting on Tony to come down. And then we're going to start this reintroduction process. We have Bella in the car. We have Bella in the car. Got to get used to filming myself. It's just not as easy as it looks. This is not as easy as it looks. Let you guys check out the neighborhood while Tony comes down. Yes, sir, Tony, my friend. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good to see you, man. No, it's been a while.
Yes, sir.
You ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. Is the rest of the family here?
No, it's just me today.
Just you today. Okay, no problem at all. So, of course, I have your girl in the car, right? Now, there's some rules to reintroduction.
Okay.
So initially, no touch, no talk, no eye contact with her.
That was my plan.
Yes.
Keep it natural.
Just to keep it cool, because she's going to be excited, of course.
Exactly.
I'm expecting her to be excited. And obviously, we don't want to exaggerate her excitement by you being excited as well, right?
Exactly, yes.
So, the major thing is now, obviously, she's going through her 4 weeks of training. So the most important thing we have to get her to understand is that everything that we implemented with me
Has to stay with her.
has to stay with her, right?
Exactly.
And the only way that's going to happen is if you guys maintain. Exactly, right? So the biggest thing for you, and I think I said this when I picked her up, is first of all, everybody has to be on the same page, right? So that's the beautiful thing about the video. Of course, this is going to be on YouTube, so it's something that you guys can refer back to at all times. Obviously, you're still going to have contact with me.
Exactly.
So that way, if you have any questions in the future, you can always reach out. You do have 3 follow-up sessions that you can use, and we can strategically schedule those.
Okay.
So we'll talk about those, a little closer to the end, how I typically recommend people use those.
Before we go with the dog,
Yep.
I just wanted to ask a question.
Yep.
I don't know how you deal with the fireworks, because you know how 4th of
Okay.
July is coming up.
Yeah.
She's actually scared of fireworks.
Okay.
So the day of 4th of July, she barely wants to come out to use the washroom.
So she knows? How does she know?
Well, she hears the bang.
So you mean people are doing the fireworks before 4th of July? Okay,
So
gotcha.
whenever she hears like a big loud bang,
Okay,
she either stays in the doorway,
okay.
or she doesn't want to get out.
She doesn't want to go out. Okay, so, and maybe, excuse me, it's kind of hard to emulate something like that. You kind of have to be in a moment, but I tell you what we can do. We can strategically set up the sessions to where 4th of July, we can set up a session so I can actually show you guys in real time. Now I can give you the theory, and hopefully we actually come across something, because the technique is going to be the same, right? It's just the situation is going to be different. So if we come across something I'll be aware and say, hey, this is what you're gonna do
Exactly.
when
You know
4th of July.
how
Yeah.
it gets closer and closer.
Yep.
People start getting all excited and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So they just start blowing fireworks up. Right
That's
now.
perfect. That's actually good because it gives you more time to practice,
Mhm.
right? So hopefully we come across something today to where we can actually go through the technique of what you're gonna do. But if not, we can, like I said, schedule something
Okay.
and then I can take you through it in real time.
Okay.
Yeah, so, hopefully, because we're going to go for a nice little walk.
Okay.
Also, I know you guys were saying that you had some issues with her in the window.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, we'll go upstairs and go through that, show you how we rectify that, if
Okay.
that's okay with you. And then, like I said, we'll make it happen, So hopefully we come across some dogs and we can go through in real time how you handle that.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. All right, cool beans. So let me grab her out the car. What I'm going to ask you to do is, while I'm handling her, you just hold the camera for me,
Sure thing.
and then we'll switch back and forth.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So yeah, you just flip it around the other way. Then I'm gonna grab her and I'll come right back. Okay, so she already knows she's home. She already knows she's home. So that anxiety, that anticipation is building up, right? So there's a couple of things. Come right here. Right here. Place. Hey. Yes, good girl. Place. Sit. Yes, good girl. Right? So the main focus right now is to get her brain to calm down. Right?
Okay.
So again, she's excited. She knows you're there.
Exactly.
Right here. Sit. Good girl. Right? Now she knows you're there, but it hasn't really
Clicked.
over
Yes.
yet, right? Because it's so much to see. She's starting to get it. You see the
Yes.
You see the fixation, right? So now what you're gonna notice I'm doing is communicating to her that you must calm down.
Okay.
Right? She does not get access to things in an excited state of mind.
Okay.
The more access you give her in an excited state of mind, the worse her behavior is getting, right? Because then you're teaching her that she gets rewarded when she gets super excited.
Yeah.
Right? And that leads to the reactivity. Hey, sit. Good girl. That leads to the reactivity that you're experiencing on the leash, right?
Okay.
Because as you saw, right, she's able to be with other dogs.
Exactly.
You
Yes.
see? So what's happening is, hey, good girl. Because she hasn't had proper practice in introducing herself to other dogs.
Okay.
Right? The leash reactivity is her saying, I'm inquisitive. I don't really know how to introduce myself, right? Hey, no, right? So perfect example, that's that anticipation building up, that frustration, right? And that leads to the on the leash, right?
Yes.
So what I'm telling her is that's not going to get you what you want, right? Stop it.
Exactly.
That behavior is no longer acceptable. Hey, sit. Right? That behavior is no.
And you see,
Nope.
before, she would actually bark at the dog when she would hear that.
Absolutely. Right? So, but that's because we never told her, right? That it's unacceptable, right? So now, what we have to do right now is get over that. Right? She's gonna go all the way up. She's gonna flatline and realize that this is not gonna get her what she wants. And then she's gonna let it go.
Okay.
And that's the moment where we can really start doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's where you make a breakthrough.
That's where you make the
Mm-hmm.
break, because now we have her brain. Right?
Okay.
And this is a perfect example. You have a dog coming, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
actually want to, and real, this is why I love this neighborhood, right? A lot of the
Exactly.
time people have issues with leash reactivity.
Okay.
And every time I come outside,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like no dogs want to be outside.
Exactly.
Right? But the beautiful thing about this neighborhood is so many dogs.
Yes,
Right?
there
So this
is.
is a great way to actually go through it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show you in real time how we correct her hyper reactivity on the leash, right?
Okay.
So the most important thing is we have to be in tune with our dog, right? We have to use our intuition.
Yes.
Now we know, right? Hey. Nope. Right? As soon as that growl starts, we correct it. Right?
Okay.
We don't allow her to escalate, right? Because the higher in the escalation she gets, the harder it is to reel her back in. Right?
Okay.
So I call that concept doing the least to get the most, right? So if we allow her to get to a 10, then we have to get to a 15 just
To
bring
control her.
back to a 5.
Okay.
But if we only allow her to get to a 1, right, or a 2, then we can maybe match her at 2.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now what that does for you is that lowers your stress, your anticipation, or your anxiety, so it's easier to communicate, right?
Okay.
Because she has enough anxiety for everybody. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
So the most important thing is, hey, sit, good girl, right? So the most important thing for her is calm.
Sorry.
Right? In order for her to be calm, she has to sense the calm from you.
Okay.
And that's the most important thing, right? And you're a pretty calm person, so that's really good.
Yes.
You know, I don't sense that you have a lot of anxiety and things of that nature, right? Which is a good thing for her.
Yes.
But the most important thing now is giving you the tools so your natural characteristics can help you be a better leader for her.
Okay.
Because that was the biggest thing for you. You know, a lot of people that that have dogs like this, they're very anxious.
Oh,
They're very,
yes.
You know, they get frustrated very easily. So now I have to teach them to change their entire characteristics before I can even give them the tools. Right? So thank you for making my job a little easier.
No problem.
So that's the most important thing, is just remember staying calm. Now there's a difference between being aware and being anxious. Right?
Okay.
So being anxious is before you leave the house, man, I'm already kind of building up stress because I know the walk is going to be stressful.
Exactly. Yes.
See what,
Yes.
That's anxiety.
Okay.
Right? Awareness is, I know there's a lot of dogs in the neighborhood, but hey, I'm in control.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? And what I mean by that is, obviously, you can't control
the environment.
but
Exactly.
you can control her, right? And you can control you, right? So now, right? So now we're going to go through the techniques. Right?
Okay.
So I'm going to go through it, and then I'm going to hand you the leash over. Then you can start doing it in real time. Right?
Okay.
So we give you the theory, and then you're going to do the application. Right? So if you notice, every time, there's 2 things I do. Every time she starts to get out of hand, right? You'll see me do 2 things. You'll see me tap the leash, and you'll hear me say something like, "Hey, no," right? All of those represent the same thing.
Okay.
It represents stop. Whatever you're doing right now, stop.
Okay.
Right? And it's not really the word. That's why you can use different phrases, right? So again, you'll hear me say you hear me say hey, you hear me say no. Right?
Yes.
Those are typically the 3 things that I use.
Okay.
The words you use don't really matter. What matters the most is the energy behind the words.
Okay.
Do you mean it? When you say no, do you mean it, right? Perfect example. There's a difference between no and no. Same word,
But different.
2 different things.
Yes.
When you say no, she's like, I don't really believe you.
Exactly.
You don't believe
Because it's soft.
It's too soft.
Yes.
Right? So the words doesn't really matter. What matters the most is the tonality of the word. That's what makes her believe that you believe what you're saying, right? So when I say if you notice, she looks up.
Exactly.
Because what that does is that breaks the fixation, right? Whatever she's fixated on, whatever she's doing,
Yes.
it breaks through that, right? It breaks her concentration on whatever it is that she's doing and brings it back to me, right? Then the next thing you notice I'll do, right, is I'll give her some type of instruction.
Okay.
Right? Because now that I have her attention, right, she's giving me her attention. So now I have to use it. This is the follow through that a lot of people miss. Right?
Okay.
The follow through is more important than you actually getting her attention, because if you get her attention and you don't do nothing with it, guess what she's gonna do?
She's gonna go back to being the way
Because
she
it's like,
was.
you called me for it.
Exactly.
You didn't want nothing from me. Okay, I'm back over here. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So now when I break the tension, hey, right here. Yes, good girl. Right? Place. Sit. Good girl. Yes, right? So I call this concept reading your dog. It's an acronym for redirection. Right? The redirection is the hey, no, right? The tap on the leash, right?
Correct.
That's the redirection, right? Engage, right? The next thing I must do when I get her attention, I must engage her. What does engagement look like? Thank you for giving me your attention, right? So as soon as she gives me that eye contact, good girl, I want to let her know that I appreciate you giving me your attention, right? It's no different that if you've ever done like a speech in front of the class or in front of a group of people, the first thing they normally say is, hey, thank you for your time today. You see, it's the exact same thing, right?
Exactly.
So I have to thank her for giving me her time, right? Now, this sounds very, very human-like, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, and this is where most people don't understand, we're all mammals, right? So we're all very similar in how we experience life. The difference between us and them is we have the ability to rationalize at a much higher level than they do. Right?
Okay.
But they feel the exact same emotions, right? So again, if she's going to give me her attention, then I'm going to say, thank you for giving me your attention, right? Now I can do that verbally and I can do that physically, right?
Yes.
Either way, doesn't matter, right? You just want to thank them for giving you their attention.
Correct.
So again, redirect or engage, good girl, come into me, right? So typically, if she's out here, I say, hey, come here, good girl, right?
Correct.
And the next thing I must do is give her direction. What does direction look like? Sit, right? Or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter what it is. You must give her some direction to replace the thing that she was
looking at.
right?
Correct.
So, redirection, engage, affection, right? The affection is the touch. Good girl, the verbal praise.
Correct.
Right? Then direction, right? So that's the read concept. So that applies to fireworks.
Okay.
It's the same concept. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Now, I know the application of it is going to be slightly different, right? But if you can grasp that concept, then that will help on the fireworks as well, right?
Okay.
Because all it is a fixation on something that she's unsure about, she's excited about, she's nervous about, right?
Yes.
So we must redirect her brain back to us, because what we're telling her is, follow me. If you follow me, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to be okay.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? So that's the read concept, right?
Okay.
When you break it all down is, hey, follow me. Right? If you follow me,
you're safe.
You're safe. You see? So, and that's her believing in you, trusting in you, right? She loves you. She doesn't necessarily trust you.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So, any questions on that?
Not so far.
Okay.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay,
Yes.
good, cool beans. So, here's what we're going to do. We are going to take a little stroll. Which way do you normally encounter the most dogs?
Through the park. Through a little trail on the park on the side.
Okay. So we go around this way here?
Yes. The entrance is like right there.
Okay. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Right. I'm gonna hand you the leash, and I'm gonna let you take over. Now, as we're walking, I'm gonna be giving you direction.
Okay.
On what to do. So that way, again, it's a difference between hearing it and feeling it in real time, right? Because now what we're going to work on is your technique in handling her.
Okay.
You see what I mean? And then as we're working on the technique of you handling her, I'm going to be explaining the mechanics, right? Because there's a difference. There's a difference between mechanics and technique.
Correct.
So I'll be breaking all that down as we walk. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna hand you the leash. Now the first thing I want you to do is, if she goes to jump on you, she gets excited, I want you to correct her, right? There you go. Now, Yeah, there you go. Good,
Sit.
good.
Girl. No.
There you
No.
go. Perfect,
Good girl.
perfect.
No.
I,
No.
no pet just yet, no touch just yet, right? Because what you're looking at is even though she's performing the task, she's still in an excited state of mind, right? You never want to reward an excessive state of mind. And again, the reason why is because if you touch in this, you're rewarding the fact that right? You're rewarding that, right? So even though she's performing the task, you can give her a good girl, right? But save the touch for last.
Okay.
You save the touch for when she's really calm,
Okay.
right? Because that's the most rewarding in this moment, right? So I call that leverage your love.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because she wants your affection. Use it to your advantage.
Get it until she actually performs.
Until she does what you need her to do, you have to withhold that love.
Correct.
Because if you give it to her freely,
She'll just want it.
she's going to take over you, right? She's going to take advantage of it, right? No different than humans, right?
Exactly.
You can love someone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give them love, right?
Exactly.
Because if they're doing something that's detrimental to you, you're rewarding them for taking advantage of you. So it's the
Like
same.
rewarding a kid that did bad things.
There you go. Yes, sir. Same concept. Yep. So whenever you're ready, we can start walking. I'll follow you. Good. Now, the first thing I want you to work on, right, is letting go. And what I mean by that is allowing her to fail in a controlled environment. Perfect example, right? So allow her to have the leash, right? Because what I'm going to teach you to do is how to get her to walk with you, right? So you see she's pulling, right? Now, what I want you to do is abruptly, don't say anything to her, right? Is turn and go the opposite way. Boom, just turn and go. Yep. Okay. Now, what I want you to do again is turn and go the opposite way again. There you go. Good. Now, release it in your right hand. Just hold it in. Which hand do you normally hold the leash?
The right.
Right hand. Cool. So just keep it in your right hand, right? And every time she gets out in front of you, I want you to do an abrupt turn. What we call that is a corrective U-turn. So right now, turn and go. There you go, right? Now, as you turn and go, as a matter of fact, let's switch real quick. I'll show you what I want that to look like, right?
Okay.
So as she gets out in front, right? What I'm looking for is a pop. Right?
Okay.
That same correction that we did here, right, is a quick pop. Now, I'm not saying anything to her. All I'm going to do, right, see how she's paying attention to me now?
Yes.
Right? Because all I'm communicating to her is pay attention to me, right? Every time she gets out in front, I'm just going to keep turning until she starts to turn with me, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for. Good girl, right? Now you see she's turning with me. Good girl, yes, good girl. Right? This is what we call the loose leash walking.
Okay. She like pays more attention to you.
You see she's thinking about it, right? You see it?
Yeah.
You see her thinking? And that's what I want to create, right? Good girl. Now every time she does it, every time she turns with me, right? I think she might have to move that. But we'll see in a minute. I want to reward her for that.
Correct.
Again, I want to thank her for paying attention to me, right? Every time she doesn't pay attention, she gets a correction, right?
Correct.
So that's what I want you to practice right here until you get that flow. Right?
Okay.
And there's no cookie cutter way to do it. Feel it.
Oh,
You see what I mean?
exactly.
Feel the dance, right? What's your nationality?
Mexican.
What's the dance?
Salsa, bachata.
There you go, right? You feel it.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? So feel her, right? Again, it's not about being rigid, right? Flow
It's
with
just
her,
the flow.
but also at the same time, right? Communicate with her, right? You're offbeat. And how you tell her you're offbeat? Hey, you're offbeat. Stick with me. Right?
Correct.
So you see how now we're on beat.
Exactly. She's like more to your side.
It don't matter where I move, she's going with it. You see what I'm
Facts.
saying? And didn't use any words.
Exactly.
Right? So it's the intuition, right? Feel your dog, know your dog, but at the same time, using the technique of, hey, you're off beat. Right? I call that the assertive tap on the shoulder. Right?
Okay.
You're not paying attention. I'm calling you. You're not hearing me. Hey, I'm calling you. Right? Hey, I'm calling you.
Correct.
You see what I mean? All right, let's do it.
All right.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. And remember, when she turns, so out the corner of your eye, you're looking, right, to see if she turns with you. So now just test her, right? There you go. Good. Okay. Good. Yeah. Now turn a little slower, because what you're looking for, tell a good girl, right? Because what you're looking for right now is if she turns on her own without you having to pop, right? Good. You got somebody coming behind you there. Just be aware of it. Okay. There you go. Tell a good girl. There you go. Good, good. How you doing? Yeah, no problem, man. Yes, sir. You too. Good. Tell a good girl. Yep. So now, So now this is where the feeling comes in, right? When you feel her turn with you, good girl, right? Let her know this is what you want, right? And that's where the balance comes in, right? As much as you correct, you want to reward when they are doing the things that you want, right? Because you want them to be aware of the things that you like, so they do it more, so you have to correct less. You see what I mean? All right. Yeah, let's do it a few more times. Get the flow. Good. Yeah, check out that eye contact you got there. When you get that, when she looks up at you like that, let her know, yes, tell a good girl, right? Because all she's saying to you right now is, hey, Dad, what is it that we're doing next? Where we going? There you go. Perfect timing. As soon as she gets off track, right, it's like the railroad tracks. She cannot deviate because the train will derail, right? So she has to stay with you in your rhythm. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Right? Now test. Do a slow turn to test to see if she turns with you. Tell a good girl. Good. Good. Good girl. Yep. Do another test. Okay. Now when you want to test her, turn a little slower just to give her time to adjust. Right? Do another test turn. Tell a good girl. Okay, give her a slight correction. Slight. There you go. Good, good, good. Correction, because you didn't give her permission to deviate off the railroad tracks, right? Good. We're gonna do a few more test turns. Okay. Good. There you go. Tell a good girl. Now what I want you to do, turn to your right. There you go. Good. When she's next to you again, turn to your left now. Yep. Spin to yep. Yep. So what I'm looking for is you turning into her, right? Okay. There you go. Okay. Not bad. Good. Tell a good girl. Okay, cool. Let's keep it walking, right? It looks like, do you got the flow? You feel it? Okay, good, good. So now use that as we walk, right? Every time you feel that she starts to derail off of those railroad tracks, do that corrective U-turn, right? Or you can do an abrupt stop, right? An abrupt stop is the same thing. It just, the difference is you just kind of feel which one you want to do while you're walking, right? So now what we're doing, there you go. Good, good. As a matter of fact, let me demonstrate the abrupt stop real quick. Yep, so you take that just so you can see it in real time, right? So if she gets out in front, right, I'm gonna stop, hey, place. Bring her back in place, right? Put her in the sit. Right there. Good girl, yes.
Okay.
Good girl. So that's an abrupt stop. So I literally just stop.
Told her to come to
reset,
place.
then we can go again. Heel, you see?
Correct.
Now, corrective U-turn, right? It's the same, but it's different. Right?
Okay.
It's different because the corrective U-turn is more of a training technique.
Okay.
Right? That's training you and her to get on the same page.
Mhm.
Right? The abrupt stop is real life.
Okay.
So you see a dog, right? And you're like, okay, I'm not anxious,
Mhm.
but I'm prepared.
Correct.
You see what I mean?
Mhm.
So especially if you see her get a little bit too,
Aggressive.
well, a little bit too fixated,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with her being curious,
Correct.
right? We actually want curiosity.
Mhm.
But where we want curiosity is nose, not eyes, right?
Correct.
How you know she's using eyes?
It's because she's just staring.
She gets fixated,
Mhm.
right? Nose is what's going on over there. That's
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
We take because that's dog.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
That's
Once
their
it goes
instincts.
Here,
Mhm.
it's too much human, right?
Correct.
Or depending on what's in her breed, it
Mhm.
could be in her genetics.
Mhm.
Because you have dogs that have been bred specifically for eyesight fixation,
Exactly.
like pointers,
Mhm.
right? Those are dogs. Those are what we call what's the term? You have scent dogs, you have eye dogs, right?
Mhm.
They're all hunting dogs, but they're all been bred genetically to use specific things to get them what they want. Right?
Correct.
So depending on what's in her, if
Mhm.
she's lab, we could have that fixation on eyes, right?
Correct.
Even labs are used for their nose too.
Correct.
Right?
Mhm.
Pit bull, eyes.
Exactly. Mhm.
So if pit bull is in there, that's where you get the. You see what I mean?
Correct.
So now we're talking to the breed, right?
Mhm.
And this is where knowing your dog comes in. And sometimes it's hard, especially if you rescue the dog.
Exactly.
Because you don't really know what's in there, right?
Mhm.
But this is where we have to read, right? We have to read, right?
Mhm.
So now you know that pit bull is coming out machine.
She starts looking.
Yes,
Mhm.
right? We want more dog to come out, which is,
Nose.
how you
Correct.
doing over there? Right?
Mhm.
Because they're literally smelling
Exactly.
pheromones.
And you could actually tell because then she just lifts up her head and.
Exactly. That's okay.
Mhm.
We invite that, right?
Correct.
So that's the difference between, right, an abrupt stop, because now we're walking, let's say a dog is over here, and she sees the dog before me,
Mhm.
but I'm in tune with her, and I see her body language start to change. I see her start to, so now, if she's out in front, but sometimes, right, it's an appropriate time for her to be out in front. Why? Because I told her it's okay.
Correct.
You know that term?
Mhm.
Free. So that is her term
Mhm.
for go be a dog.
Mhm.
This is your time to just explore.
Do whatever.
Smell whatever you want to
Mhm.
smell. Do whatever you want to do, right?
Correct.
But again, obviously you're in control because you have the leash.
Correct.
Right? So you're still allowing her to be a dog in a controlled environment.
Mhm.
Now what this is going to relate to, when you're at the park and you let her go.
Correct.
But you have to get this down first.
Before
so
you get that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Right? Because it's more psychological than it is physical, right?
Okay.
See? Fixation. Right?
Correct.
She sees the dog back there, right? So this is where, hey, yes, good girl, place. Right here. Sits. Still fixate.
Correct.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Hey. Yes, good girl, come. Come. Yes, good girl. Right here. Come. Now, if you notice, I'm backing up.
Correct.
The reason why I'm backing up is because she wants to get to the dog, and I'm giving myself leverage, right?
Correct.
Come. Yes, good girl. But notice I'm not running away.
Correct.
I'm going to, of course,
Go ahead.
respect him and give him his space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the right thing to do.
Correct.
But if you notice,
No barking.
no nothing, right?
Nothing.
Because fixation came in. Now, if I would have allowed that to escalate,
It would have actually.
she would have been trying to go for the dog.
Exactly.
Right? But I told her, you know this is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Correct.
So I just stepped to the side, allowed them to get the space,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't avoid it.
Correct.
Avoidance doesn't equal compliance.
You gotta face it on.
You gotta face it,
Mhm.
right? There's no other way to fix it but to face it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Correct.
So now, this is where the tools come in, right?
Mhm.
So now the tool is, stop it. I see what you're about to do.
Mhm.
I know you.
Correct.
You see what I mean?
Mhm.
My father used to always tell me, when people show you who they are, believe them. I believe if I let her,
She would actually go for it.
she will go for it. If we let her, right? But if we tell her, hey, you know this is not what we're doing. Relax. Get over here to me. Sit down. Let them pass by.
Correct.
And then heal. We can go on about our day, right?
Correct.
But that was a perfect example of the difference between an abrupt stop, right, and a corrective U-turn. Again, the corrective U-turn is more of an intentional training tool. The abrupt stop is real life. Dog coming. I see you fixated. Hey, stop it. Get over here. Sit down. Be patient. Wait. And we can go.
Correct.
You see what I mean? All right, let's do it, my man.
All right. Let's see.
Come on. Okay. Now, perfect example, right? Another perfect example of the abrupt stop. So we had a alley here, right? So that's where you want to be prepared because you don't know who's coming in that alley, right? So what we don't want is you're coming and they're coming and the meet is a surprise dogfight, you see? So in situations like that, if she is out in front, that's where you hit the abrupt stop, bring her back to you, and you guys come to the alley together, right? So that way you can see what's going on before she does. So, yep, just wanted to point that out real quick. Yep. There you go. Put her in the sit. Yep. Yep. Just say it one time and hold it. There you go. Release it. Yep. As soon as she puts her butt on the ground, release the pressure, right? And as we're walking, I'm going to explain what that is, right? So the pressure, I call that picking up the phone, right? So if you want to communicate to something to her, you always give her the benefit of the doubt. That goes back to doing the least to get the most, right? So the first thing I always want to do is see if I can communicate with her verbally, right? Now, obviously, if we get the response that we want verbally, then of course we don't have to go to the tactile communication, which is the leash, right? The leash pressure. Now, because again, that pit bull comes out sometimes, right? That determination comes out sometimes, right? So we have to be more determined than her, right? So this is where the leash comes in, right? Because now it gives you leverage. So now she's not listening. You said sit once. You don't give her a second chance. Because the first time is a command. After that is begging. You see what I mean? This is how she begins to believe that you believe what you're saying, right? So now you say sit, she doesn't listen, pick up the phone. We need to have a conversation, right? So the end of the leash is your phone, is her phone, right? Hey, I need you to sit down. Now, as soon as she sits down, right, conversation is over. Hang up the phone. You see what I mean? Very important to her because then she begins to understand the pressure goes away once she complies, right? If you keep holding the pressure, then it's confusing to her because it's like, I'm sitting. What else you want me to do? You see what I mean? Then that causes stress, anxiety, and it begins to build up from there, right? So, yep, let's do it, my friend. Good. Now, at any moment, if you feel like she's not on your pace, right? There you go. Perfect. There you go. Good. Yep. At any moment, right? My pace is different than yours, right? I'm a little taller, so I walk a little faster probably. You see what I mean? So now you have to create your pace with her, right? She has to adjust to you, right? Good. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Good. Now, here's what I want you to do. Drop it in your right hand. Yep, and just hold it. There you go. So now what you're doing, right? You're building trust in you, right? So remember, avoidance doesn't equal compliance. Restraint doesn't equal compliance, right? Allow her the freedom to fail in a controlled environment, which means she knows the dog is there. You know the dog is there. Allow her that 6-foot space to make the mistake specifically so you can correct her. Because again, she has to learn, right? what are the rules, boundaries, and limitations, right? And one of them is you cannot be reactive. I don't care if it's 100 dogs out here, right? So now this is okay, right? You see the nose? Look at the nose, right? The nose is up, right? Now, if her head goes down and she starts to do this, like now, correction. See? There you go, right?
Sit.
There you go. Good.
Right.
There you go. Perfect, right? You saw it start to change?
Yes.
That's where you have to be in tune with her, right? You allow her to, hey, how you doing over there,
Yes.
right?
Sit.
But as soon as it goes to this,
That's correct.
nope, right? And then you allow her to sit in it because now she has to submit to this, right? There you go. Whenever you're ready. Yep. Okay. Good. Yeah, Bella, this is too beautiful of a neighborhood for you to be acting like this. Yeah. But how does this feel though? Because normally, are you able to walk past dogs like that?
Low key, no.
Yeah.
Not at all. 'Cause,
Yeah.
At that point, she would already try
To get to her.
to get to it.
Yeah.
And I'd be over here just trying to pull her towards
Yeah.
me, or at least try to go down the hill.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Now, it feels way better.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you get to enjoy the walks. You get to enjoy this beautiful neighborhood. You see what I mean?
Actually spend a little bit more time
Yeah.
outside with her
Yeah.
than I would before.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about, man. Yeah. All right. Let's continue. So we'll try to, the goal is to come across one more dog just to get the, the practice in.
Correct.
And then we'll take it to the window.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect. 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 There you go. Perfect. Yep. You got it, my man. Perfect. Yes, sir. Yep. You see that eye contact every time she give it to you? Yeah. Gotta give it that good girl. There you go. Good. Mm-hmm. Good. Good. As a matter of fact, let's keep walking that way. Hopefully we get another dog. We'll see how she acts with this dog now that is on the same side. So here's what you do. Again, allow her to have that leash, right? Just move over to your left a little bit more. So that way it doesn't, scare them or anything like that. Yeah, move all the way over to your left. Yep. There you go. But allow her to have that leash. Right? This is perfect. The dog is moving. She's moving. Right? All right. She's not there yet. Okay. Good. Give her slight correction. There you go. Tell her good girl. Good. Good. Perfect, my man. Oh, yeah. Good. Good. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Good. Yep. So now, perfect example, right? And she might have to use the bathroom, so we'll give her a little grace. But even when walks like this, right, I call this a structured walk, right? And what that means is, again, take it to the railroads, right? The railroads have specific tracks that they have to follow. If they deviate, then they can run into another train, right? So it's the same concept here, right? This is, right now, this is our road, right? You deviate over here, trouble. You see what I mean? So now we have to give her the green light to deviate. What that looks like, let me show you real quick. right? So if we're walking, right? Hey, let's good girl, right? Now, if we're walking, typically, right now, I'm personally not so anal
Okay.
about the dog being right on my side,
Mm-hmm.
right? As long as there's no tension in the leash
Mm-hmm.
as we're walking, right?
Correct.
So the entire time we call this loose leash walking, right? As long as the leash has slack in it as we're walking,
Correct.
I'm okay. So if she's a little behind, she's
Mm-hmm.
a little in front, no big deal for me.
Oh,
Right?
correct.
But as long as she's within the vicinity that I can see what
Mm-hmm.
she's doing, right?
Correct.
So as we're walking, right, the leash is loose, right here, right? The structure walk is nope, go over there. Right? Turn. Stay with me. Like good girl. Good girl. Now, if I'm ready to allow her to take another track,
Mm-hmm.
free. Now this is her time to be a dog.
Correct.
Right? So I give her permission to deviate and do all the doggy stuff that they want to do when I deem fit, not when she deems fit.
Okay.
And what I liken this to is if you've ever watched National Geographic or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've ever seen wolves on the hunt,
Correct.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no leashes,
No.
right? This is a human thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a law thing because technically your dog is supposed to be on the leash, right?
Basically,
so we're
yes.
going to follow the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the wild, there is no leashes,
No.
right? They have trust and they have leadership,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now, if they were on a hunt, right? And the leader, right? You notice the alpha wolf is always out front, and this is it's like literally etched in my brain, right? If it's a whole bunch of snow on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 10 wolves on the hunt,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you look at the trail, you can't really tell how many wolves it is,
You can't.
right? Because
Mhm.
they're all uniform. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I mean? And that's on purpose. Right?
Correct.
That's nature's way of hiding, right? Their
Yeah.
strategy.
Mhm.
You see what I mean? So now we have to emulate that in nature, right? We're on a hunt.
Correct.
She don't know where we're going. She don't have to. She just has to follow.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Because in nature, the wolves never say, "Hey, we're going left. We're going. Follow me. I know what I'm doing.
Eye contact.
I know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me."
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's time, you go. However they communicate that, right?
Mhm.
We still really don't know because we're not dogs.
Correct.
So we have to add a little human into it,
Mhm.
right? But following the same model, right? So if we're walking heel, right, and I feel it's time for her to deviate, right? Heel, yes, good girl, right? And I feel it's time for her to deviate, then free. I give her the freedom to do that, right?
Mhm.
But that's on me, not on her.
Correct.
You see what I mean? All right, there we go.
All right.
How you doing today? All right. All right, you got it, my friend. Yes, sir. Good. Tell a good girl. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Good. Good. Good work. There you go. Good work. Good. Yep. Perfect. Good. Yes, sir. You might have a dog trainer in you, man. Yeah. The hardest thing for me is humans, not dogs. That is 90% of my work, or 90% of the stress that I incur is dealing with the owners. not the dogs. The dogs are easy because dogs are very simple, right? Dogs are very black and white. Dogs are very black and white, right? And I tend to be very black and white myself. So it's much easier for me to communicate with the dog. The humans are the ones that it's hard to get them to change their perception around how they look at their dog. You see what I mean? So yeah, so is it easy? Yes. Just training the dog? Yeah. The humans. Yeah, the humans is the hardest. Yeah. Good. There you go. Good. There you go. Perfect. That's how you hold her accountable. Perfect. Yep. That's what I call an implied state, right? So when I tell a dog to sit, when I tell a dog to down, whatever the command is, where I told them to do it is where I expect them to stay until I ask them to do something else. Good. Good. Now, what I want to do as you're going in the door, right? Just because you start opening the door doesn't mean she. So what you're doing, you're intentionally going to the door, keeping your eye on her to see if she moves. There you go. Perfect. Right? Because what you're going to do, you're going to invite her in. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
No. Sit.
Good.
No.
Good.
Sit.
Perfect. Good. Yep. Now give her all the leash, right? Give it to her. There you go. Put her in the sit again. Yep. Because what you're looking for is when you're ready, you tell her come.
Come.
There you go. Good. Good. There you go. Yes, sir. And we do the same thing with this door.
Sit. Sit. Good girl. No. Sit.
Perfect.
Good girl. No. Sit.
Now, what I want you to do in that no, make it a little sharper. No. Right? There you go. You see how she turned around with that? Yep.
Turn. Sit.
Now, remember, right? Put her in the sit so we can.
Sit.
Yep. So now remember, she knows where she's going, right? Mm-hmm. So now that anticipation is going to start to build.
Correct.
Then the anticipation is going to start to turn into frustration, right? Okay. Now, the thing about dogs, they live in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. So all of that we just did for the last 52 minutes, today is a totally different day.
Correct.
Because it's a totally different scene. Mm-hmm. We're getting closer to the place where all of those emotions that are tied to everything that she used to do, she's thinking in her mind, I can go.
She's fighting free.
Yes. Right? Mm-hmm. So now, and this is the thing that I try to get people to understand, they don't rationalize like we do, right? If we was talking to another human, they would be able to understand that everything we just did out there is the same thing in here.
Correct.
She doesn't understand that yet.
Okay.
So now we have to re-communicate that with her. But the beautiful thing is, it's not going to take her as long as it did out there because she understands the concepts, right? Now we just have to implement it everywhere we go.
Okay.
Right? And then eventually she's going to learn I have to be like this all the time, right? Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Okay. Sit. Good girl. No, we're not moving until you sit. Sit. Mm-hmm. Good girl. No. Sit.
Good.
Good girl. No.
Yep. Remember, make that no a little sharper. Good.
Let's go.
Good. Perfect. That was perfect. Perfect.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's the same with the stairs. Yep.
Sit. Good girl.
Yeah. Because remember that anticipation is building up. So the closer you get to your door, the faster she's gonna try to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go. Sit. Sit. Sit.
There you go. Remember, just say it one time. If she doesn't listen that first time, that's when you go to the tactile.
Let's go. Sit. Sit.
Mm-hmm.
No. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. No. Sit.
Good.
I didn't say move.
There you go.
Okay. Sit.
Good. Yep.
Good girl.
Make that no a little sharper.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
No.
There you go.
Good girl. Let's go.
Yep. Good. Not bad. Yeah. Let me know when you're ready.
We're good. We're fine.
Okay.
Sit. Sit.
Good. Is that a real dog?
Yes. That's my other.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
That's
She-
the other one.
Yeah, 'cause I'm like, is it moving or is it a teddy bear? I couldn't tell. All right, cool beans. So where's the window that window right there? So here's what I want you to do. Drop the leash. Yep, yeah, go drop it totally. Right? Because what that leash is gonna do, that's gonna allow you access to her, right? As soon as she goes to jump on that couch, right? And here you go. As a matter of fact, hold that. I'm gonna demonstrate, right? Because she's looking to do it, as you can see.
Correct.
Right? She's looking. Come. Okay, we let her drink some water. I know she's a little thirsty. Hey, is it a boy or girl?
Boy.
Oh, okay. Cool,
Yes.
cool. But that's good that when she came in, because I tell you, a lot of the time, people that have other dogs and we reintroduce the dogs back in, there's a little tension there sometimes. So that's good that she actually just kind of ignored and was like a normal day. So that's actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah. But then it also helps that he's calm because a lot of the time the other dogs are younger, so they're bouncing all over the place.
Exactly.
So that's good. That's good. He's actually a perfect match for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though they have different paces, but
Yeah. Yep. Hey, come. Right. So now what I'm looking for her to go try and claim, right?
Okay.
Claim the chair,
Exactly.
the spaces that she normally jumps on, just so we can correct it.
Okay.
And the correction is literally the same as the leash. The difference is specifically in the house. Now I want that connection to be direct, which means now I'm going to use my hands as opposed to the leash. Now in situations where it's easier just to grab the leash, you grab the leash.
Correct.
But I want to show you the technique of actually using your hands in the same manner to correct. Right? So we're just going to kind of let her realize that, okay, I'm home, right? To see if she starts to bring out some of those old habits. Right? So we're going to give her a minute to do so to see. And if she doesn't, that's actually a good thing. But eventually, she will, right? So I still want to show you the technique.
Like right now, she's like looking for his food.
Ah, okay.
So that's the deal right now.
So is this normally where you put his food?
Yes.
Okay.
And you see how she's cleaning his food?
Nope. Good. Right. So now what you have to do, right? Because obviously he can't do it. You have to claim everything in here, right?
Okay.
Now, again, if he was to try to claim the food, that would be a fight between those two.
Exactly.
Right? And obviously she would win because she's stronger,
Younger.
bigger, right? So obviously we don't want that. So now in order to protect him, right, we have to claim him so she understands nothing in here belongs to you.
Correct.
Everything you have goes through me, right? So perfect example. As a matter of fact,
No.
we're going to do it. Perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Because see, that's the goal. Remember, I told you eventually the goal is to be able to let her go free and your words become just as valuable, right, as the leash.
That's the leash. Correct.
Exactly.
They have to become one.
They have to become one. That's why if you notice, every time I tap that leash,
Mm-hmm.
no, hey, right?
Yes.
I'm pairing my verbal with the physical. So in her mind, it's the same thing.
Correct.
So when she hears, hey, it's like, oh, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Come here.
Facts.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this is good. Look at her. All right.
Good girl.
Yeah. Yeah. That's perfect, man.
Yeah, because usually she would just come home and straight to the couch.
Straight to the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. That's because she hasn't released the tension in her body, right?
Correct.
So now, just by you doing that, if you notice, we didn't even walk far.
We didn't. No.
Right? A lot of the time it's not about the physical, right? Mental.
Correct.
Right? We worked her mentally, so now she's tired.
calm.
She's released. Her glass is empty, right?
Correct.
As opposed to before, you
When
walk her a long way,
it was
the
full.
glass is still full.
It was probably even overfilling.
Yes. So that's the difference, right?
Correct.
That's the difference. So now, here we go, right here. Shh. No. Good. That's what I was waiting for. Right? That's what I was waiting for. Down. Right there. Good. Now this is where. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yes. That's when you get physical. And if she gets excited again, we correct.
Correct.
Come over here. Because remember, I asked her to stay down. I didn't ask her to move anywhere.
Correct.
You see, so we got to remember that too. Because sometimes we'll forget. Like, oh, I told you down.
Correct.
That means stay. You see what I mean? Down. Just because I pet doesn't mean break the command.
Correct.
This is when you pet. Not when she's frantic. And because again, you're rewarding the wrong state of mind.
Exactly.
This right here, oh, this is beautiful. Because you can enjoy your dog like this. You see what I mean? Now, if you want to, right now that she's in a calm state of mind, you can invite her on the couch.
Okay.
Right? Because we don't want to take the couch away.
Correct.
Right? We want to use it as leverage. Oh, you want to get on the couch? Well, relax. When you're relaxed,
you get the couch.
Come sit on the couch with me.
Correct.
Come sit on the couch with me. You see
Okay.
what I mean? You can't claim the couch.
Exactly.
Claiming the couch is what's going on out there. Who I'm gonna bark at next.
Exactly.
That's claiming the couch.
Okay.
But if you're like this, you can come sit on the couch with me.
So would that also come with like the noise? Because usually she goes on the couch when somebody comes out from the next door.
It's no different.
Okay.
It's no different. She does not have permission to get on that couch unless you invite her. I don't care what's going on out there.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Benevolent dictatorship.
Correct.
Everything can be cool as long as you follow my rules.
Okay.
All right? I want to see what she's doing. Okay, good girl. Good girl. Yeah. So that's that, man. That's that. So you got read, redirect, engage, affection, direction, right? You have avoidance doesn't equal compliance, right? You have rules.
Bella.
Good.
Good girl.
You have discipline, structure, then love, right? Love is last.
Correct.
Because she has to earn it.
Correct.
She has to be disciplined. She has to follow the structure that you set in place. Then you give her love.
Correct.
Right? I'm trying to remember doing the least to get the most, right? So, and that's where discernment comes in, right? So when the corrections, you have to be able to determine what level of correction that applies to the behavior that she's doing, right?
Okay.
So for an example, we was outside, you see her start to do this, that's a level 1 or a 2.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you have a situation to where you don't see a dog coming and she goes straight to 10, that's when you match that or take it a level above, because you have to fight fire with fire.
Correct.
Especially when that fire gets raging. If you notice, fires get out of control, they don't use water anymore.
No, they start pouring fire.
Exactly. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So that's doing the least to get the most, right? If you can do the absolute least, like just now, you hit it with the hey and the snap, right? That was the absolute least. You didn't have to touch the leash.
Correct.
And you got the result that you wanted, right?
Bella.
Now, if you did that and she didn't respond,
correct her with the leash.
get that leash, right?
Correct.
So what I'm going to recommend for the first week, right? Keep the leash on her.
Okay.
That way it gives you easier access. Now you don't have to chase her. You can chase the leash if you need to.
Correct.
You see what I mean? So then after that, once you get the flow just like outside, take the leash off. Hey, she knows, as you see, she knows what that means.
Correct.
Right? So yeah, man. So any questions?
No, not so far.
Good, man.
So far, so good.
I'll tell you what, man. You might want to consider a career in dog training, man.
Maybe.
What it is, it's your energy. You have a natural calm energy.
Okay.
And that's the most important thing a dog trainer can have. You know, most people don't have that natural, that calmness. You
Okay.
See what I mean? So I have to try to teach that before I can teach technique.
Exactly.
The technique is easy if you have the temperament. You see what I mean? So keep that.
It is usually because I have friends that also have dogs.
Okay.
So I get along with their dogs.
Nice.
And you know, you make a bond.
Yeah. That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's good. Absolutely. So yeah, man. So no other questions?
No, not right now. It was just the 4th of July part.
Okay. Yeah. So and what you can do to try to emulate that, it doesn't really equivalent to the same.
Okay.
Is pull up some fireworks on YouTube. Put it on the TV. Play it as loud as you can.
Okay.
See how she reacts. Right. Matter of fact, are you able to do that?
Yeah.
Let's do it now. I'll take the phone. Okay. Yeah. Pull it up now. And we'll go through that right now. Hopefully, you'll see when you get the real fireworks, you get that booming effect, right? You get that thunder effect, and that's really what scares them. Is that because they feel that, that thunder.
Yes.
So yeah, so unfortunately, we're not getting the same now. If you had like the surround, like the big woofers, it would give more of that.
I do have the floor one. I just don't know where the cables are.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. If you get the cables for it, put that on, because then that's going to give more of that boom, right? That thunderous effect, which is what really scares her.
Yes.
So yeah, once you do that, whichever one comes first, 4th of July or that, you just apply the same techniques, right? Because essentially what you're telling her is that you don't have to be scared. And a lot of people, they give empathy to that. Oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay, right? It is not okay for you to feel like this. Snap out of it, right? Sit down and relax, right? So it's the same concept across the board, right? If she starts trying to run and hide somewhere, hey, nope, come over here, sit down, relax. Then when she's like this, right? If she's just chilling, good girl. Not when she's, yes, you correct that, you give her affection here. You see what I mean? So yeah, so that's it, my man. Miss Bella, I don't say this very often, but you're in good hands, my girl. Oh, yeah, you're in good hands. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want. When you see those eyes, you give her all the love in the world. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir, my friend. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go grab her stuff, and then we'll be good to go.
All righty.
My man, good job. Good work,
Thank
man.
you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So let me cut this off. All right, folks.